There was never meant to be struggle in the life of man. There was only meant to be the flow of divine abundance, the rhythm of effortless wealth, the music of harmony between the soul and supply. Yet humanity forgot. We began to chase what was meant to come easily. We began to doubt what was already ours. But today, that veil is lifted. You are not poor because of circumstances. You are not bound because of lack. You are only limited by one thing: your belief in limitation. The first truth of money mastery is this: money is not material, it is mental. It begins as an idea shaped by faith, called into being by the power of your word. If you hold a thought of fear, you repel wealth. But if you hold a thought of certainty, a thought vibrating with confidence and divine assurance, the world rearranges itself to deliver exactly that vibration in material form. Money is obedient. It listens not to effort but to energy. It flows where faith flows. Do you see? You were born rich not in paper or coins, but in consciousness. Every soul carries an invisible bank account called faith. Withdraw from it daily. Spend from it freely, for it cannot run dry, and it multiplies every time you use it. When you say, I can't afford it, you make a decree to the universe: I am small, I am separate, I am lacking. But when you declare, the divine supply meets all my needs now, you make another decree: I am connected, I am abundant, I am already provided for. The universe takes your word as law. It never argues. It never debates. It simply creates. Your words are the architects of your reality. Every time you speak fear, you build walls around your prosperity. Every time you speak faith, you open windows of opportunity. Speak as one who already possesses the thing desired. Speak with the tone of authority that commands mountains to move. Let go of the spirit of lack. Lack is a shadow, not a substance. It is born from disbelief, not reality. The truth is that supply is infinite. It is everywhere, waiting for your permission to appear. There is no shortage in the divine. The only shortage is in man's imagination. To master money is to master the imagination, to see riches where others see ruin, to speak wealth where others speak worry, to act rich in spirit long before the numbers appear in your account. Act as if your wealth were already here. Stand tall, speak kindly, give freely. Gratitude is the rehearsal for luxury. When you bless what you have, you multiply it. When you despise what you have, you diminish it. There is a law of circulation that governs all things. Money is not meant to be stored in fear but shared in faith. Every coin you give with joy returns tenfold, carrying with it the vibration of generosity. Every act of hoarding creates stagnation, for even the ocean must ebb and flow. To hold money tightly is to say, I do not trust the universe to provide again. But to give with grace is to declare, I am in harmony with the infinite cycle of return. Do not be deceived by appearances. The visible world is only the shadow of the invisible. The unseen is where true wealth resides. Every delay, every detour, every waiting moment is not punishment, it is preparation. The universe is never late. It is always arranging the divine order of supply. When the time is right, when your heart is aligned, and when your words match your faith, the door will swing open and abundance will flood in, not as a trickle, but as a river. Money is a servant, not a master. It is a reflection, not a source. Treat it as you would a trusted messenger, carrying the news of your inner belief. If your belief is fear, the message will be scarcity. If your belief is confidence, the message will be prosperity. You are not meant to chase money. You are meant to attract it. You are not meant to struggle. You are meant to flow. The soil does not strain to grow flowers. It simply receives the seed and lets nature do her work. So it is with your life. So faith and the harvest of riches will appear. The world may tell you to compete, to climb, to grasp, but the law of abundance says, connect, believe, and receive. When you see yourself as one with all creation, when you bless the wealth of others as if it were your own, the universe reflects that blessing back to you multiplied. There is no other. In divine abundance there is only one source, one supply, one eternal giver. And that giver lives in you. So rise today, speak differently, think differently, Walk as the master of money, not the servant of fear. Every bill is an opportunity to declare, I am rich in faith, and this too shall multiply. Every challenge is a mirror asking, do you believe in lack or in limitlessness? Choose limitlessness. Choose divine luxury. Choose to believe that the same power that spins the stars spins the gold of your destiny. For you were never meant to beg for abundance, you were born to express it. Your wealth begins the moment you say with conviction and joy, I am one with infinite supply. Money flows to me easily, freely, and endlessly. My life is luxury in divine order, and so it is. Every financial experience begins in the mind, not in the bank, not in the economy, not in the world outside. Money is a reflection of consciousness, an obedient servant to the ideas you hold most firmly in your heart. The law of mind and money is unbreakable. What you think and believe about wealth becomes the pattern through which money flows or refuses to flow. If you see the world as limited, your experience becomes limited. If you believe there is not enough, you will live in a world where there is never enough. But if you awaken to the truth that abundance is an inner state, then every avenue of life opens before you. You stop chasing money and start attracting it. You stop begging and begin receiving. For every experience of poverty is not an outer condition, but an inward conviction of lack. And every experience of prosperity begins with a shift in thought from fear to faith. When a person changes the way they think about money, everything changes. Money is not simply paper or coin. It is energy. It is a vibration that responds instantly to the vibration of your belief. You do not earn money with toil alone. You earn it through alignment. The mind is the magnet, and the world is the field. When you magnetize your mind with thoughts of abundance, gratitude, and confidence, you draw to yourself circumstances, people, and opportunities that mirror that vibration. When your thoughts are anxious, when you dwell on scarcity, when you speak of what you cannot afford, you create a repelling force that drives prosperity away. The universe does not respond to begging, it responds to being. When you become abundance in consciousness, you cannot help but see abundance expressed in form. The mind is the birthplace of every fortune and every failure. A poor man may win a lottery and lose it within a year because his inner pattern has not changed. His outer wealth collapses back into his inner belief. Likewise, a man of rich consciousness may lose everything in the world's eyes, yet he rebuilds it with calm assurance, for his wealth never depended on the number in his account, but on the richness of his thought. The law of mind and money is impartial. It does not favor the rich over the poor or the educated over the simple. It only mirrors belief. The secret of money mastery lies in learning to think as the divine thinks, without limit, without fear, without doubt. The divine mind knows no lack. It knows only endless expansion. When you think from that place, when you hold thoughts of plenty and declare that your supply is infinite and ever present, you plug yourself into the inexhaustible current of abundance that surrounds all life. You stop seeing yourself as a small creature struggling in a world of scarcity, and instead recognize that you are a creator within a universe of infinite ideas, each one capable of manifesting into wealth when energized by faith. Many try to change their outer world without changing their inner one, and they wonder why their results are temporary. They strive, they labor, they worry, and they think more work or more effort will solve the problem. But the law of mind and money is spiritual. It cannot be manipulated by effort. It must be understood by awareness. You cannot hold thoughts of failure and expect success. You cannot live in fear of bills and expect overflow. The universe cannot give you what you contradict with your vibration. Thought is cause, money is effect. To change the effect, you must first transform the cause. The mind must be trained as one trains a garden. Every thought of limitation must be uprooted. Every weed of doubt must be burned away by the fire of conviction. For every negative statement like I can't afford this, plant a new one. I am divinely supplied in all ways. Each affirmation is a seed, and what you plant with persistence will grow. The soil of the subconscious never argues, it simply produces what is sown. If you keep planting fear, the harvest will be worry and lack. But if you plant faith, gratitude, and expectation, the harvest will be wealth, peace, and opportunity. Money is not attracted by desperation. It is attracted by certainty. When you know, truly know, that your supply is assured by divine law, you stop vibrating with fear. You stop looking at the world as a hostile marketplace and begin seeing it as a generous garden. The moment you align your thought with the principle of abundance, you begin to notice things shift almost magically. The right ideas come, the right people appear. A phone call, an unexpected offer, a new door opens. These are not coincidences. They are the visible reflections of your invisible faith. To master the law of mind and money, one must learn to live as if abundance were already here. You must speak, act, and think from the consciousness of wealth. When you receive money, bless it. When you spend it, bless it again. When you pay bills, thank the universe that you have something to pay with. When you see wealth in others, celebrate it rather than envy it. Each of these small acts affirms that you live in a friendly universe of endless circulation. What you bless expands, what you curse contracts. The law does not fail. It is constant, mathematical, exact. If you hold thoughts of poverty, you will live in its shadow. If you hold thoughts of wealth, wealth must appear. This is not wishful thinking. It is spiritual science. The law of gravity does not depend on emotion. It simply acts. So too does the law of mind and money. You can complain about your situation, but the universe will only echo back your complaint in experience. You can affirm abundance, and the universe will echo back abundance in form. The one who truly understands this law no longer fears the future. They know that every dollar is born from an idea, and every idea is born from inspiration. They live in a state of calm expectation, certain that supply will meet demand in perfect time and form. They no longer waste energy on worry, because they know worry is faith in the wrong direction. They replace fear with vision, doubt with decree, uncertainty with gratitude. And as their inner state changes, the outer world rearranges itself in perfect harmony. Every fortune that ever existed began in someone's imagination. Every invention, every business, every empire was first a thought. So too is your wealth waiting in the invisible realm of thought, ready to be claimed. The only thing standing between you and abundance is belief that you are separate from it. But in truth, you are one with the infinite source. When you remember that, money ceases to be a struggle and becomes a song, a rhythm that plays in harmony with your inner faith. The mind is the factory, the soul is the designer, and money is the product. Keep your thoughts aligned with divine plenty, and the product will always be abundant. Never curse your situation, bless it as the soil in which your new prosperity is being planted. Every difficulty is a test of faith, and every test, when passed, increases your wealth consciousness. The one who persists in faith will see miracles unfold, because the universe cannot withhold from a mind that refuses to doubt. So guard your thoughts as you would guard a treasure chest. Watch your words as you would guard a sacred altar. Let every inner conversation about money be one of gratitude, confidence, and calm authority. For as you think, you attract, as you believe, you become, and as you speak, you create. Money is only the shadow of thought made visible, and when the light of faith shines through you, the shadow takes the form of abundance, luxury, and divine prosperity. Money responds to faith like a magnet to metal, drawn irresistibly toward the one who believes in its coming. Faith is the invisible currency that commands the visible. It is the unseen substance that shapes what the eye beholds. Every fortune, every opportunity, every door that opens does so because faith was present first. The one who trusts in divine supply is never poor, for their riches are already established in the realm of spirit long before they appear in the material world. Faith is not merely wishing or hoping, it is knowing. It is the unwavering conviction that every need is already met, that every desire aligned with divine good already exists, and that what belongs to you cannot be taken, delayed, or denied. Money follows faith just as surely as a shadow follows light. When you walk in faith, you walk in the energy of abundance. You speak differently, think differently, and act differently. You no longer plead with life or chase after success. You expect it, you command it, you receive it. Faith transforms invisible substance into visible results, and the moment you trust the unseen, the scene begins to shift in your favor. The world cannot resist a person who stands in the energy of faith, for faith is creative power. It builds bridges where none existed. It multiplies what is small. It restores what was lost, and it brings form to the formless. The person of faith does not measure their wealth by their current possessions. They know that appearances are temporary reflections of past thinking. They do not look at an empty wallet and call it lack. They look at it as space being cleared for divine inflow. They do not let the outer condition dictate the inner state. Rather, the inner state dictates the outer condition. For faith is not bound by evidence. It creates evidence. It does not wait for proof. It becomes proof. And when you live from that knowing, the whole universe conspires to make your faith visible. Every great soul that has walked the path of abundance understood this secret. You must believe before you see. The mind that insists on seeing before believing will always live in lack, for lack is the absence of faith. To say, I will believe it when I see it, is to reverse divine law, for Spirit says, believe it, and you shall see it. Faith is the creative blueprint of all wealth. It is the bridge between the invisible and the visible, the thought and its manifestation, the seed and its harvest. Faith is the language of the divine economy. It is the currency accepted in all realms. When you spend faith, you receive substance. When you invest fear, you receive scarcity. Both are magnetic, both draw their own kind. You cannot hold fear and expect abundance, for fear and faith cannot occupy the same space. Fear looks at the outer world and trembles. Faith looks at the inner world and triumphs. Fear is the confession of separation from supply. Faith is the declaration of unity with it. Choose which master you will serve. When you pay a bill in fear, you multiply debt consciousness. But when you pay it in faith, declaring that divine supply is limitless and that circulation brings increase, you align with the flow of prosperity. Faith transforms every expenditure into an investment. It turns giving into receiving and scarcity into circulation. A person who walks in faith knows that there is no such thing as loss, only movement. Money flows out only to return multiplied. Faith keeps that channel open, while doubt clogs it with anxiety. Faith is not loud or frantic. It is calm, confident, and unshakable. It speaks softly but with authority. All is well. My supply is sure. My abundance is now. The one who lives in faith carries a lightness, a serenity that money itself recognizes. Faith emits a vibration that attracts opportunities, aligns circumstances, and magnetizes wealth from unexpected directions. When others strive and push, the faithful one rests in divine timing, knowing that the invisible hand is arranging everything perfectly. To live in faith is to live as though the miracle has already happened. You walk with assurance, not arrogance. You give thanks in advance, not after the fact. Gratitude is faith's twin flame. It completes the circle of manifestation. When you give thanks for what you desire before it appears, you affirm that it already exists in the unseen. The universe responds instantly to that vibration. Faith says, it is done. Gratitude says, thank you. And between those two statements, miracles are born. The greatest misunderstanding of money is thinking it is earned only by labor. True wealth is earned by faith. Labor is only the channel through which faith expresses itself. Faith creates the idea creates the opportunity, and the opportunity produces the wealth. Without faith, the mind cannot see opportunity. It sees only limitation. With faith, the same mind sees doors where others see walls. Faith tunes your inner ear to the divine frequency where guidance, intuition, and perfect timing dwell. Faith also dissolves the illusion of competition. When you live in faith, you no longer fear someone else's success. You know that divine supply is infinite and individualized, that what is yours cannot be taken by another. This awareness removes envy and anxiety, replacing them with calm expectancy. The faithful person celebrates others' blessings because they know that every blessing witnessed is proof of the same law operating in their own life. Faith sees abundance everywhere because it recognizes the one source behind all forms. To master money, therefore, is to master faith. To control wealth, you must first control belief. It is not the outer conditions that determine your prosperity, but the inner conviction with which you move through life. Faith transforms struggle into ease, delay into divine timing, and want into wonder. Every time you declare, "I am richly supplied," the universe provides for me in perfect ways. You are spending faith, and faith spent always returns with interest. Let this truth sink deep into your consciousness. Faith is substance. It is not invisible fantasy. It is tangible spiritual matter. It has weight in the unseen and power in the seen. It moves mountains because it is made of the same essence that created the mountain. The moment you feel genuine faith in your heart, you have already received the thing desired. The materialization is merely the echo of that inner knowing. So stand firm in faith, even when appearances suggest otherwise. Speak as one who already possesses, act as one who already has, think as one who already is. The law responds not to your wishes but to your certainty. When faith becomes your normal state, money can no longer resist you. It must obey the magnetism of your belief. You become a living embodiment of divine confidence, and the universe mirrors that confidence with prosperity, opportunity, and limitless flow. Faith is the true gold, and the one who holds it never lives in lack. Words are spiritual seeds, carrying within them the power to create worlds. Every word you speak is a command to the unseen, a decree that shapes the invisible into visible form. You may not realize it, but the money in your life, the opportunities, the people, the flow of abundance or the lack of it, all are the fruit of the words you have spoken in faith or in fear. Every sentence leaves an imprint upon the substance of life, and that substance obeys without question. If you have spoken words of struggle, debt, and limitation, then your world has faithfully mirrored that belief. But if you choose to speak words of power, gratitude, and divine supply, then the same law that once produced lack will now produce prosperity. The power of the spoken word is absolute, for it is the bridge between thought and reality, the divine tool by which invisible faith becomes tangible form. Many people speak carelessly about money. They say, "I can't afford that," or "I never have enough," or "money just slips through my fingers." And then they wonder why these conditions never seem to change. Each time they speak such words, they reinforce a vibration of scarcity. The universe listens attentively to every word and takes it as instruction. It does not interpret sarcasm or self-pity. It only responds to conviction. When your tongue declares poverty, your life fulfills the prophecy. But when your mouth declares abundance, your life must obey that new decree. The word is law. It is spiritual authority in action. In the beginning, creation itself was spoken into being. "Let there be," were the first words that turned thought into manifestation. And you, made in the image of that same creative power, possess the identical faculty, the ability to speak things into existence. The moment you speak with conviction, invisible forces begin to move, unseen energies begin to organize, and what was once a mere idea begins its journey toward visibility. Your words send instructions to the universe, and the universe, ever faithful, fulfills them in divine timing. Every time you open your mouth, you are either blessing your life or binding it. Each phrase is a seed, and like any seed, it must bear fruit according to its kind. Words of faith and gratitude yield a harvest of peace, prosperity, and joy. Words of fear and resentment yield a harvest of frustration and debt. If you could see the energy released every time you speak, you would never utter another careless word again. You would guard your speech as you would guard a chest of gold, for indeed it is far more valuable. Speak only of what you desire, not what you fear. When you talk about lack, you magnify it. When you talk about blessings, you multiply them. Declare daily that divine supply meets every need. Say aloud, money flows to me easily and freely. I am open and receptive to divine prosperity. Everything I touch prospers and blesses others. These words, repeated with faith and feeling, carry spiritual weight. They impress the subconscious mind, which in turn commands the outer world to conform. Do not say them with desperation. Say them with authority, as one who knows the law. The subconscious mind is the soil of your life. It cannot discern between truth and falsehood. It only grows what you plant. Words are the seeds, and emotion is the water that feeds them. If you speak words of abundance but water them with fear, you delay their harvest. But if you speak with joy and gratitude, your words bloom swiftly. The law of speech is consistent and cannot fail. You have seen it at work in your own life. When you speak of blessings, more blessings appear. When you complain, more reasons to complain arrive. The world mirrors your declarations. Learn the sacred art of silence, for silence is the preparation ground for powerful speech. Do not speak about limitation, even in jest, for the subconscious does not understand humor. It only understands repetition and emotion. Speak words that affirm life, love, wealth, and freedom. Say nothing of fear, nothing of defeat, nothing of doubt. When you are tempted to complain about your finances, replace the complaint with a decree. Divine order governs my affairs. My supply is abundant. My prosperity is assured. These simple phrases, when spoken consistently, dissolve the old mental patterns of lack and replace them with new blueprints of success. The power of the spoken word is multiplied when combined with gratitude. Speak your thanks before the manifestation appears, and the law of abundance will hasten to confirm your faith. Say aloud, I am thankful that money flows to me in perfect ways. I am thankful that all my needs are met. Gratitude charges the word with living energy. It moves your speech from mere repetition to spiritual authority. Gratitude is the golden key that unlocks the vault of heaven's riches. Never underestimate the influence of your tone. The energy behind your words matters as much as the words themselves. A half-hearted affirmation is a seed planted in rocky soil. It may sprout but soon withers, but a word spoken with passion and certainty is like a seed planted in fertile earth. It will grow strong and bear abundant fruit. Speak with conviction, with feeling, with certainty that what you say must come to pass. The universe responds to confidence, not hesitation. You are always speaking your future into existence. Every declaration is a prophecy waiting to be fulfilled. When you say, I am blessed, you summon blessings. When you say, I am struggling, you summon struggle. You are the author of your financial destiny, and your words are the ink with which it is written. If you wish to change the story, change the language. Speak as the wealthy soul you are, not as the one you fear you might become. The more you affirm divine abundance, the more your reality aligns with it. Let your speech become an instrument of creation, not destruction. Replace complaint with praise, fear with faith, and doubt with decree. Let your words rise from the conviction that the universe is friendly and rich with opportunity. Speak as one who knows the law of prosperity is already at work. And when you speak, expect results. Expect increase, expect favor. Expect divine order to rearrange circumstances on your behalf. For your words are not empty. They are living forces sent forth with purpose, returning to you in perfect form, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. There is a divine order of supply, a sacred system that governs every form of abundance in the universe. Nothing in life happens by accident, and no good thing is withheld when the heart is aligned with this order. The flow of money, the appearance of opportunity, the arrival of resources, all move according to divine timing and perfect law. Yet most people live as though they are separated from this cosmic current. They rush, they worry, they force, and by doing so, they block the very flow that would bring them what they desire. To live in divine order is to trust the rhythm of the universe, to release fear and impatience, and to know that supply is never late, never lost, and never lacking. Every soul has a design, and within that design lies a pattern of perfect provision. The same intelligence that governs the stars governs your affairs. The same power that brings the sunrise brings your prosperity. When you step out of worry and into faith, you harmonize with that unseen intelligence, and suddenly, what once seemed difficult begins to unfold with grace. Divine order is the unseen architect of abundance, arranging events, people, and circumstances with precision far beyond human planning. You may think you are waiting on money, but in truth, money is waiting on you, waiting for you to release resistance and step into alignment. When you trust divine order, you cease to chase. You no longer live in frantic energy, trying to make things happen by willpower alone. Instead, you allow things to unfold naturally, guided by inspiration, not desperation. The moment you stop fighting the current carries you. Divine supply works effortlessly when you do. When you let go of fear of not having enough, fear of missing opportunities, you open the channel through which abundance flows. Fear is contraction, faith is expansion. The universe can only pour into what is open. So many people exhaust themselves trying to manipulate circumstances. They push against doors that are not theirs to open and ignore the ones that swing freely with ease. Divine order shows you where to go, but only when you quiet the noise of panic. When the mind is still, intuition speaks, and intuition is the voice of divine guidance. It tells you when to act, when to rest, when to give, when to receive. If you listen, you will find that every step you need to take toward abundance is already mapped out. You are not required to struggle, only to listen and to trust. Divine order is not chaos disguised. It is harmony misunderstood. Sometimes the path of prosperity appears as delay or detour, but in truth it is divine arrangement. What you call waiting is often preparation. What you call loss is often redirection. The universe cannot give you what you are not yet ready to hold, so it reshapes you, refines you, teaches you patience, and builds your faith. In time, you will look back and realize that every apparent setback was a setup for greater supply. Divine order wastes nothing and forgets nothing. Every prayer is heard, every intention recorded, every act of faith rewarded. To live in divine order is to walk by inner knowing rather than outer sight. You stop worrying about how your supply will come or through whom it will arrive. You understand that there are infinite channels but only one source. The moment you fix your faith on the source rather than the channel, you become fearless. You stop clinging to people, jobs, or possessions because you know they are merely instruments of divine supply, not the supply itself. If one channel closes, another opens immediately. The river may change its course, but the water never ceases to flow. Money is part of divine circulation, not an isolated object of pursuit. It moves in harmony with the larger rhythm of life, giving, receiving, growing, and returning. When you trust that rhythm, you never hoard, never grasp, never panic. You give with joy because you know giving is the beginning of receiving. You spend with peace because you know what goes out will come back multiplied. You rest in the assurance that the divine order of supply is never broken, even when appearances suggest otherwise. You may stand at times in what appears to be lack, but divine order knows no vacuum. When one form of abundance departs, another begins to take shape. The soil must sometimes be cleared before new seeds can grow. Do not despair in moments of emptiness. They are sacred intervals where the universe is rearranging your supply for greater expression. What seems like delay is divine timing at work. The mind that trusts divine order never collapses under waiting because it knows the unseen is moving swiftly and wisely. This divine law does not respond to anxiety. It responds to assurance. The more you trust, the faster it works. Anxiety is a signal of doubt, and doubt cuts the current. Peace, however, is magnetic. It draws to you everything that belongs to you. The person who walks in peace about money magnetizes prosperity without chasing it. They are calm while others rush, generous while others grasp, and confident while others complain. Divine order moves through them easily, for they have become vessels of harmony. Every great teacher has spoken of this truth. Seek first the kingdom, and all these things shall be added. The kingdom is not a place, it is a state of alignment. When your thoughts are ordered, your world is ordered. When your heart is still, your supply flows. To live in divine order is to live above fear, above doubt, above hurry. It is to know that life is perfectly balanced and that abundance is not created. It is revealed when resistance ends. So when you feel uncertain, when you are tempted to panic over bills or opportunities that seem to slip away, remember, divine order has already arranged everything. The right ideas are coming, the right people are being placed, the right timing is unfolding. Your only task is to stay calm, stay faithful, stay grateful, and allow the current of divine supply to carry you where you are meant to go. Nothing good can miss you. Nothing that is yours can be lost. And every door meant for you will open effortlessly in divine time. The fifth principle of money mastery is this. *** words are power, and your speech creates your supply. *** every word you utter is a seed planted in the garden of your life. Most people speak carelessly about money, unaware that their language either builds or blocks their prosperity. When you say, "I can't afford it," you command the universe to make that true. When you say, "Money never stays with me," you order it to depart. Your words are not idle, they are law. They set invisible forces into motion. Life listens to your language, and your finances mirror your conversation. The truth is, your tongue is the steering wheel of your destiny. With every phrase, you drive yourself closer to wealth or deeper into lack. The subconscious mind accepts your words as commands without question and begins to shape conditions to match them. When you constantly affirm shortage, you create shortage. When you speak of abundance with conviction, you magnetize abundance. It's not superstition, it's spiritual science. The universe rearranges itself to reflect the vibration of your spoken word. Many live in contradiction. They pray for prosperity but speak the language of poverty. They declare faith on Sunday and speak fear on Monday, but words without consistency lose power. You cannot plant 1 seed of faith and 10 seeds of fear and expect a harvest of abundance. The soil of the subconscious responds to repetition and emotion. That means you must speak wealth until it feels natural, until your every word rings with certainty instead of doubt. Speak as though you already have it, and in time you will. Words are living vibrations that shape reality. When you say, "Money flows to me easily and frequently," you set an energetic pattern that invites opportunities, ideas, and people aligned with that truth. When you say, "I am divinely guided in all financial matters," you open yourself to inspired ideas that lead to gain. When you say, "Everything I give returns to me multiplied," you activate the law of increase. But when you say, "It's hard to make money," you lock yourself into that hardness. You affirm struggle, and struggle obeys. You are the author of your wealth story, and your words are your pen. There are no neutral words. Every statement either affirms abundance or denies it. The careless conversation of the masses is filled with lack, complaints about the cost of living, jokes about being broke, fear of not having enough, and then people wonder why their lives reflect scarcity. The truth is, your speech builds the structure of your experience. What you habitually declare becomes the atmosphere of your reality. If your words are heavy with worry, your world will mirror that density. If your words are charged with faith, your world will respond with favor. The wise learn to guard their tongue as carefully as their treasure. They refuse to speak lack even when appearances suggest it. They replace every negative phrase with a powerful affirmation. When the bills come, they do not say, "I can't pay this." They say, "Divine supply meets every demand in perfect time." When opportunities seem delayed, they do not complain. They say, "Nothing good can be withheld from me. What is mine is on its way now." These statements are not empty. They are spiritual commands that summon the invisible into form. There is magic in the spoken word, for it carries the vibration of belief. You may think a thought quietly, but when you speak it aloud, you give it life, you set it free into the universe. That is why declarations and affirmations work. They move from mental intention to creative vibration. Every affirmation spoken with faith becomes a decree, and the universe must obey. Say it often, say it boldly, and say it with feeling, for feeling is the fuel of manifestation. Never underestimate the impact of casual speech. Many sabotage themselves through humor and sarcasm, speaking poverty as a joke. But the subconscious mind has no sense of humor. It takes every word literally. When you say, "I'm always broke," even in jest, the inner law accepts it as truth. Speak only what you wish to see made manifest. Let your words be clean, bold, and full of power. The universe responds to command, not complaint. Practice blessing everything that concerns your finances. Bless your wallet, your home, your bills, your work, your clients, your opportunities. Every blessing you speak multiplies. Gratitude spoken aloud is an amplifier of prosperity. Say, "Thank you, life, for the constant flow of wealth. Thank you for the endless opportunities to prosper. Thank you for the abundance that surrounds me." The vibration of gratitude lifts you above fear and aligns you with divine provision. The one who learns to speak consciously becomes the master of supply. They do not chase money, they call it. They do not fear lack, they dissolve it with declaration. Their words become instruments of creation. When they say, "I live in an abundant universe," life rushes to prove it. When they affirm, "Money comes to me in expected and unexpected ways," doors open, people appear, and ideas unfold. The word spoken in faith is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. It is the original currency of creation, and when you use it with purpose, prosperity cannot resist you. The sixth principle of money mastery is the law of *** faith over fear ***, the understanding that your belief determines your flow of abundance. Fear is the great thief. It steals your peace, your confidence, and your creative power. Faith, on the other hand, is the golden key that unlocks unlimited supply. Every moment of your life, you are choosing one or the other. You are either standing in the vibration of trust or in the shadow of doubt. And the universe, impartial and exact, mirrors back whichever you choose most often. Fear whispers, "What if I lose everything?" Faith declares, "Everything I need is already provided." Fear says, "There's not enough." Faith replies, "I live in infinite supply." Fear builds walls, faith opens doors. Fear delays, faith accelerates. Every emotion you feel sends out a signal, and that signal attracts matching experiences. When you live in fear, you magnetize limitation. When you live in faith, you attract flow. The mind rooted in faith cannot experience lack because faith itself is abundance made visible through expectation. Most people believe they must first see results before they can believe, but that is the reverse of divine law. You must believe first and then you will see. Faith precedes manifestation. It is the blueprint upon which the material form is built. The unseen always comes before the seen. When you believe unwaveringly that you are supported, guided, and provided for, circumstances begin to rearrange themselves to prove you right. Faith bends reality to your conviction. Fear often disguises itself as logic. It says, "Be realistic, be careful, don't expect too much." But the realism of fear is a prison for the soul. It convinces you to shrink your dreams to fit your doubts. It tells you to settle for less because more seems risky. Yet every fortune, every success, every miracle has been born from someone daring to believe beyond fear. Faith is not reckless. It is rooted in divine intelligence. It knows that you are not alone, that unseen forces move on your behalf, and that your desire is not random. It's a signal of what's already possible. Money responds to the vibration of confidence. It flows toward those who expect it with joy and away from those who pursue it with anxiety. This is why two people can work equally hard, one with faith and one with fear, and yet produce vastly different results. The one who works with faith radiates assurance, creativity, and gratitude. Their energy attracts cooperation and opportunity. The one who works with fear transmits resistance, tension, and doubt. Their very energy repels what they desire. You cannot attract what you secretly fear. Faith is not passive waiting. It is active knowing. It's standing tall in the unseen, declaring that good is on its way even when the evidence says otherwise. It's waking up each day and saying, "Everything I desire is unfolding perfectly. I walk in abundance. I live in divine timing. I am fully supported." And then acting as though it were already done. This combination, belief and aligned action, is unstoppable. It moves mountains, parts seas, and builds empires. The most powerful people are those who have trained themselves to feel peace in uncertainty. They have mastered the art of standing still inside chaos. They don't let temporary conditions dictate eternal truths. Even when they cannot see how their needs will be met, they affirm that they are. This calm certainty is magnetic. It tells the universe, "I trust the process." And the universe, in return, sends resources, ideas, and synchronicities that fulfill that faith. The more you trust, the faster the evidence arrives. Fear is loud and persistent, but it is powerless once you face it. Every fear about money, fear of loss, fear of not having enough, fear of failure, dissolves in the light of faith. The moment you declare, "I am provided for in every situation," you withdraw power from the fear that once ruled you. You move from survival to sovereignty. The same energy you once wasted in worry becomes the energy that attracts your wealth. Remember this. Fear and faith cannot occupy the same space. One must give way to the other. When fear knocks, answer with faith. When worry whispers, answer with the word of abundance. When the mind says, "What if it doesn't happen?" reply, "What if it already has?" The universe responds not to begging or panic, but to confident expectation. You will always receive according to your dominant belief. So guard your inner atmosphere. Cultivate faith like a sacred garden. Water it daily with affirmations of trust. Speak often of divine order, of endless supply, of effortless flow. See yourself already blessed, already prosperous, already successful. Faith is the invisible currency that creates visible wealth. When you walk in faith, you do not chase money. Money recognizes you. It follows your certainty like a shadow follows light. And when your belief becomes unshakable, abundance has no choice but to appear. The seventh principle of money mastery is ***, the law of giving and receiving ***, the eternal circulation of wealth that mirrors the heartbeat of the universe itself. Everything in creation moves in rhythm. Tides rise and fall, seasons shift and return, breath flows in and out. To receive, you must give. To give, you must receive. When you interrupt this flow through hoarding, fear, or stinginess, you block the natural current of abundance. Money, like energy, thrives on movement. The more freely it moves through you, the more freely it returns to you. Most people cling to their money with tension and anxiety, afraid there will not be enough. But that fear freezes the flow. It signals to the universe that you believe in limitation rather than infinite supply. And so the universe responds by withholding because you have declared lack through your fear. True wealth comes not from grasping but from trusting. When you give with joy, you open the door through which greater blessings enter. You say to life, "I know there is always more where that came from." And life echoes that truth back to you tenfold. Giving is not just about money, it is about energy. Every act of generosity is a declaration of faith. When you bless others, when you share your time, your ideas, your resources, you align yourself with divine circulation. You become a channel through which abundance flows. The more you allow it to move, the more it must move back to you. This is not sentimental kindness. It is a universal law. You cannot outgive the universe. Every seed planted returns multiplied in its perfect season. But giving must be done with the right spirit. If you give grudgingly, from guilt or duty, you block the return. The power lies not in the act, but in the vibration behind it. Give with joy, with confidence, with love, knowing that what leaves your hand does not leave your life. It circulates back, enriched and expanded. When you release something joyfully, you set in motion an invisible current that brings you more of the same energy. Give fear, and fear returns. Give faith, and faith returns. Give money with gladness, and money returns multiplied. Many live by the illusion that giving diminishes them. They think, if I give, I'll have less. But the opposite is true. When you give, you expand your consciousness of abundance. You affirm that supply is infinite, and the universe mirrors that belief by sending you more. The truly prosperous know that their wealth is never in the money they hold. It's in the circulation they create. A stagnant pond breeds decay, but a flowing river stays pure and alive. The same is true of money. Let it move, and it will multiply. There are divine moments to give, inspired by intuition rather than obligation. You may feel a quiet nudge to help someone, to donate, to invest, to share. When that feeling arises, follow it without hesitation. That is the voice of divine guidance inviting you into the flow of abundance. Each inspired act of generosity plants a seed that grows in unseen soil. You may not know where or when the harvest will come, but it always does, often through unexpected channels. Likewise, learn to receive with grace. Many people are eager to give but uncomfortable receiving. They push away gifts, compliments, or opportunities, feeling unworthy or guilty, yet refusing to receive blocks the other half of the cycle. The universe cannot fill a closed hand. When you allow yourself to receive with gratitude and joy, you affirm that you are worthy of abundance. You complete the circuit, allowing the flow to continue. Giving and receiving are not opposites. They are one motion, one heartbeat. Gratitude is the multiplier of both giving and receiving. When you give, be thankful for the ability to do so. When you receive, be thankful for the blessing that arrived. Gratitude seals the energy of abundance. It tells the universe, yes, I acknowledge your generosity. And the universe responds, then more shall be given. Each grateful word amplifies your magnetic field, attracting even greater prosperity. This law is reflected in nature everywhere. Trees give oxygen and receive carbon dioxide. Rivers give water to the sea and are refilled by rain. The sun gives warmth and receives the joy of creation in return. Nothing hoards, nothing clings, nothing fears. Everything circulates, everything flows, and in that flow lies the secret of limitless supply. So if you desire to increase your money, start by increasing your giving. Give thanks, give kindness, give time, give service, give money with love. Let every gift you offer carry the energy of faith, not fear. Say silently with every act of giving, I am part of the infinite flow of abundance. As I give, so shall I receive, in divine time, in perfect measure. You will find that as you bless others, the universe begins to bless you in ways beyond your imagination. For in truth, you are never giving away. You are only sending forth that which will soon return multiplied, carrying the fragrance of your faith. The eighth principle of money mastery is ***, the law of imagination and visualization ***. The creative power of the mind to shape reality long before it appears in form. Everything you see in the material world once existed in the invisible realm of thought. The chair you sit on, the building you live in, the wealth you admire, all were first imagined by someone who dared to see it before it was real. Imagination is not fantasy, it is the blueprint of creation. The universe responds to the pictures you hold in your mind as faithfully as soil responds to the seeds you plant within it. The person who understands this law knows that money is first earned in the imagination before it appears in the bank. Your mental image is the mold into which divine substance pours. When you picture yourself prosperous, confident, and secure, you are shaping the energy that will soon become tangible form. When you visualize yourself constantly struggling, worrying, or lacking, you are equally shaping that outcome. You are the artist, your mind the canvas, your thoughts the brush, and your emotions the color that gives them life. Every mental picture held with feeling and faith becomes a magnet that draws its physical equivalent. The subconscious mind does not know the difference between what is vividly imagined and what is real. It accepts both as reality and begins to organize circumstances accordingly. That is why the most successful individuals spend time each day envisioning their ideal life, not as a distant hope, but as a present fact. They see it, they feel it, they live it inwardly long before it manifests outwardly. To use this power consciously, begin by quieting your mind, close your eyes and see yourself surrounded by wealth, success, and ease. Picture money flowing to you freely, through your work, through ideas, through unexpected channels. See your bills paid, your savings growing, your opportunities expanding. Feel the joy, the relief, the gratitude as though it were already true. The more real it feels inside, the faster it materializes outside. Imagination charged with emotion is the seed of manifestation. Many people misuse imagination without realizing it. They imagine debt, failure, rejection, and loss, and then wonder why life mirrors those images. Fear is negative imagination. Faith is creative imagination. Both work with equal precision, but only one builds. You cannot expect abundance while visualizing struggle. You cannot hold the image of scarcity and reap prosperity. The universe obeys the dominant picture you project, not your fleeting desires. If your inner movie is one of lack, that will be your outer experience. Change the picture, and you change the pattern. Imagination is the language of divine intelligence speaking through you. When you catch a vision of a better life, it is not idle daydreaming. It is guidance from the infinite, showing you what is possible. Every great achievement, invention, and fortune began as a flash of imagination. The universe plants those visions in receptive minds, and those who act on them bring heaven into form. So when you imagine wealth, do not dismiss it as wishful thinking. Treat it as a divine blueprint awaiting your belief. Visualization is most powerful when combined with gratitude. As you picture your goals, give thanks that they are already yours. Gratitude anchors the vision in faith. Say, thank you for the money that flows to me with ease. Thank you for the abundance that surrounds me. Thank you for the opportunities unfolding now. This transforms your visualization from a request to a declaration, from hoping to knowing. The universe does not respond to begging. It responds to certainty. Your imagination can also heal your relationship with money. If you've experienced scarcity or debt, don't relive those scenes in your mind. Rewrite them, see yourself free, wealthy, and secure. Visualize your wallet overflowing, your accounts increasing, your business thriving. Let every image be one of sufficiency and ease. Over time, these mental pictures overwrite the old programs of lack. The subconscious will begin to believe them, and when it does, your world must change. The key is persistence. Just as a seed requires time to grow, so too does a vision require consistent nourishment. Spend a few minutes daily in creative imagination. Feel the sensations of abundance, the peace of freedom, the confidence of overflow. See it until it feels more real than your current circumstances. You will know your visualization is working when your emotions shift, when you begin to feel joy and certainty where you once felt worry. That emotional transformation is the first evidence that reality is changing. Imagination is the bridge between the invisible and the visible, the unseen and the seen. Through it, you become a co-creator with divine intelligence. You no longer wait for circumstances to change. You design them. You no longer hope for abundance. You generate it. Every image of wealth you hold faithfully, every vision of prosperity you nurture, is a spiritual command to the universe to make it so. Imagine with conviction, visualize with love, and life will sculpt your dreams into form. For as you see it, so shall it be. The ninth principle of money mastery is asterisk asterisk, the law of gratitude and appreciation asterisk asterisk, the secret force that multiplies whatever it touches. Gratitude is more than a pleasant emotion. It is a magnetic vibration that calls forth increase. Whatever you give thanks for expands. Whatever you take for granted diminishes. Gratitude opens the gates of abundance, while complaint and dissatisfaction close them. You cannot receive more while resenting what you already have. The moment you begin to genuinely appreciate the blessings in your life, visible and invisible, the universe responds by giving you even more to appreciate. Gratitude is the language of faith. It says, I trust that good is already mine, even if I do not yet see it. When you give thanks in advance, you declare that the supply exists in the unseen and is on its way to you now. This attitude transforms your vibration from lack to abundance instantly. It aligns you with the frequency of receiving. The grateful heart never waits for conditions to be perfect. It blesses what is, and by blessing it, transforms it. Even a small measure of gratitude can turn scarcity into sufficiency, fear into peace, and uncertainty into flow. There is a spiritual alchemy in gratitude. It has the power to turn ordinary moments into miracles. When you give thanks for the money you already have, no matter how small, you send a message to the universe. I recognize my supply. That recognition invites expansion. Money responds to appreciation like a flower responds to sunlight. It grows toward it. When you constantly worry, complain, or compare, you cast shadows over your prosperity. But when you appreciate every dollar, every opportunity, every act of kindness, you invite divine multiplication. Many people live in the illusion that gratitude should come asterisk after asterisk abundance. They say, I'll be thankful when I have more. But that is like waiting for warmth before lighting the fire. Gratitude is the spark that creates the warmth. It is the cause, not the effect. When you give thanks now, before the evidence appears, you activate the law of increase. You tell the universe, I already feel wealthy. And the universe, which always mirrors your inner state, begins to produce conditions that match that feeling. Gratitude is not limited to money. It extends to every area of life. Be thankful for your health, for your ideas, for the people who support you, for the lessons that shaped you. Every breath is evidence of divine provision. Every sunrise is proof that life renews itself endlessly. The more you notice these blessings, the more attuned you become to abundance itself. Gratitude sharpens your spiritual vision, allowing you to see opportunities where others see obstacles, and to feel rich even before riches arrive. One of the most powerful practices is to begin and end your day with thankfulness. Each morning, declare, thank you for the overflowing supply that supports me today. Thank you for the divine ideas that guide me. Thank you for the financial miracles already on their way. Each night, review your day and silently bless every good thing that occurred. This habit shifts your entire vibration into alignment with prosperity. You sleep in abundance, you wake in abundance, and soon your outer world must reflect that inner truth. Gratitude also dissolves envy and comparison. When you are thankful for your own path, you no longer feel threatened by another's success. You recognize that there is more than enough for everyone, and that someone else's blessing is proof that abundance is real and available to you as well. Gratitude expands your consciousness beyond competition into cooperation with divine law. It releases the energy of flow, replacing jealousy with inspiration and resentment with peace. Even challenges deserve your gratitude, for they carry hidden gifts. Every obstacle teaches strength. Every delay teaches patience. Every loss makes room for greater gain. When you learn to say, thank you, even for this, you master life's highest lesson, that all things work together for your good. This attitude transforms every setback into a setup for greater abundance. Gratitude turns pain into power and fear into faith. The grateful person radiates a light that attracts success. They move through life with ease because their energy is open and magnetic. People want to help them, opportunities find them, and money flows to them, drawn by their joyful vibration. Gratitude makes you irresistible to good. It broadcasts the message, I am ready for more, and the universe always answers that frequency. So make gratitude your daily currency. Spend it freely, speak it often, live it deeply. Give thanks for every coin, every idea, every opportunity. Bless your income, bless your work, bless your wallet, bless your future. Each thank you is a seed of wealth planted in the garden of the universe. And as those seeds grow, you will find that gratitude does not simply change your finances. It transforms your entire experience of life. For when your heart overflows with thankfulness, you realize that you were wealthy all along. The 10th principle of money mastery is ***, the law of unwavering belief. The inner certainty that abundance is your divine right, not a rare privilege. ***, this law is the crown of all the others, for belief is the foundation upon which every manifestation rests. What you truly believe, not what you say, not what you wish, but what you know in your deepest being shapes your financial destiny. Life is not responding to your words alone. It is responding to the vibration of your conviction. Most people drift through life hoping for abundance while secretly believing they are unworthy of it. They pray for prosperity but carry within them hidden guilt, doubt, or fear that somehow they do not deserve it. Yet divine law knows no favorites. The same power that supplies one can supply all. The only barrier is disbelief. When you know that wealth is as spiritual as sunlight, as natural as growth, as pure as breath, then money begins to flow to you as easily as air fills your lungs. You stop chasing and start allowing. You stop begging and start commanding through faith. Belief is invisible substance that molds the visible world. Every dollar you hold, every opportunity you attract, is shaped by the patterns of belief within your consciousness. If you believe money is scarce, you will live in scarcity no matter your efforts. If you believe money flows easily, you will attract circumstances that make that belief true. The universe is a mirror, reflecting not your intentions, but your inner knowing. It will not give you what you want ***. It will always give you what you believe ***. To master belief, you must first identify the hidden ideas that contradict your prosperity. Perhaps you were taught that money is the root of evil, that rich people are greedy, or that spiritual people should not seek wealth. Such beliefs lodge deeply in the subconscious, quietly shaping your results. But they are illusions. Money is not good or evil. It is neutral energy, a servant of intention. It amplifies the consciousness that holds it. In the hands of the wise, it becomes a tool for creation, comfort, and service. You must cleanse your mind of old, limiting stories and replace them with truth. I am worthy of wealth. I am one with infinite supply. I am the channel through which divine abundance flows. Belief does not come from effort. It comes from repetition. You cannot force yourself to believe. You must train yourself to believe. Each day, affirm your prosperity as already real. Declare, I am abundantly provided for. My income increases in perfect and expected ways. Everything I touch prospers. Speak it until your heart accepts it, until the words no longer feel foreign but familiar. The subconscious mind learns through repetition and emotion. The moment it accepts a belief as true, it begins to arrange your outer world to match it. Unwavering belief is calm, confident, and unhurried. It does not panic at appearances, nor does it collapse under delay. When you believe absolutely in divine supply, you no longer chase after results. You rest in assurance. Even when evidence is scarce, you hold to the truth that abundance is already unfolding. You understand that the delay is not denial. It is simply divine timing perfecting the details. Belief gives you the power to stand steady while others waver, to smile in the midst of uncertainty, to say, I know my good is coming, and to feel the peace of that knowing. Such faith transforms energy. It draws people, opportunities, and ideas that correspond to your vibration. When you believe you are destined for wealth, you begin to move differently. You speak with confidence, you act with decisiveness, and you radiate assurance. That energy is magnetic. It pulls into your orbit everything that matches it: clients, partners, investments, and unexpected windfalls. The world bends to the strength of your belief because the world itself is belief made visible. Doubt, on the other hand, is a leaky vessel. It drains power. Every time you affirm abundance but secretly doubt, you short-circuit the law. The key is persistence. When doubt whispers, answer it with truth. When fear rises, meet it with faith. Keep declaring abundance until your conviction is greater than your confusion. The moment your belief outweighs your doubt, manifestation begins to crystallize. Unwavering belief is not arrogance, it is alignment. It is knowing that you and the divine are one, that you were never meant to live in lack, that prosperity is your natural state. The flowers do not struggle to bloom, the rivers do not strain to flow. Likewise, your abundance requires no strain, only belief. When you align your mind with this truth, life responds with grace. So stand tall in your certainty. Believe in the invisible as firmly as you see the visible. Walk through your days declaring, all that I need is already provided. I am divinely supported. I live in an abundant universe. Hold that vibration until it becomes your normal state of being. And when it does, you will notice something miraculous. The outer world will begin to reshape itself to match your inner conviction. Opportunities will appear, doors will open, and money will flow with ease. For in truth, the moment you believe without wavering, the universe has no choice but to agree.